Hello and welcome to Beyond the Sales, Real Estate Mastery. My name is Tomm Dool.
And I'm Chris Fenton.
And we're here today with a podcast for real estate agents to help grow your business and improve your skills. Chris, can you please tell people who you are and why you're here?
Why they should listen to me?
Yeah.
Sure. So I've been a real estate agent my entire life, which is a couple of decades, my entire adult life, I should say. I grew up in the real estate industry. My mom was a realtor, so ever since I can remember, real estate sales was part of my life. My mom used to send us, this is back in the 80s, she used to send us to school with a little notepad. And we were supposed to write down the phone numbers of any FSBOs we saw, any for sale by owners we saw, and bring them home to mom. So I grew up in real estate sales. Yeah, child labor, exactly. I didn't mean to be a real estate agent. I honestly didn't. It was not my intention. I went to university out of high school to become a computer programmer. I went to university for a year and I flunked out. And it was a pivotal moment in my life where I really failed at something really hard for the first time. Came home and I was sleeping on my parents' couch and working on a fish plant. And if anyone's ever worked in a food processing plant, especially a fish plant, not the easiest job, certainly motivation. So I'm sitting there working and I have to do something. And I think I'm too shell-shocked to go back to university. So I took the real estate course. And I had it licked within 3 months. I had that real estate course done. Once I started, I got motivated. And I became a real estate agent. And my mom, bless her, would not let me join her as a group. She made me do it on my own. And I had such a good first 6 months that I actually packed up a backpack and went to Costa Rica and backpacked Costa Rica for 3 months. Another very important thing in my life. So I learned sales the old-fashioned way. And for better or worse, I learned sales the old-fashioned way. But it always stuck with me that something wasn't quite right with the way I'd learned sales, and there was things about the real estate industry that I just didn't like. And I'm talking ethically. There was things that I just didn't like. I didn't like selling people things. I didn't like the idea that we're trying to sell something. So I went away to university after a few years in real estate sales with the intention to come back and become a real estate agent. So I was a mature adult at this time, and I went to business school, and I just absorbed everything like a sponge. I wanted to learn how to take real estate and make it a proper business. That was what I wanted to do. And then we came back and we did it. So we launched the Fenton Group, and we've been fortunate enough to be top 1% in the country for, I think, the last 7 consecutive years. As you know. Tomm's our managing broker at the Fenton Group and been a salesperson with us for almost that entire time. I think that entire time. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's me in a nutshell.
So what kind of challenges do you think you had when you first started creating your real estate business? What were the challenges that you faced?
Like when I got back from university?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was all theory, and we had to implement it into real life. So I think that's the really interesting thing about us as real estate agents is we aren't business people. We're salespeople. So now I came back and I was both. And I had this vision in my head. I had to put it together, and then I had to find people to come on this journey with me. And I think that was the biggest challenge, is finding the right people to come on the journey with me. You being one of the first ones that started.
So what have you done to overcome these challenges now, later in your career? That you might have
trial and error. No, and maybe that's the value of this podcast. One of the values of this podcast is we can help people short circuit that trial and error. In terms of trial and error with people, I think the biggest thing, as you know, is I'm a big believer in putting people in the right seat on the bus, finding the right personality, because I don't believe that we possibly can be good at everything. So finding the right people to fit the right role, defining what that role is, defining what the person looks like, and then finding that person. And we do that through a whole bunch of things. Personality profiling is a big thing with us, just personality profiling.
And finding what people like to do and what they don't like to do, and then matching them up, hopefully.
You know what? And what they're good at and what they like to do is almost always the same thing.
Exactly. So that it's giving more fulfillment in your job, which gives more performance and makes the team more unified, I guess, right?
Absolutely. 100%.
So your business philosophy. Describe your business philosophy. What are some of the approaches that you do different from others?
Our slogan is beyond expectations. And I think that's what we're trying to do, is go beyond people's expectations. What we do differently from others integrity is a huge thing, and I'm not going to say there isn't integrity or everyone doesn't have integrity in real estate. It's just really important to us, is making sure that when we work with clients, we are there to help the client, not to get a transaction. Like, it doesn't even enter our thinking, as you know. And so I think that's probably one of the biggest differentiators for us. And then there's just this relentless pursuit of perfect, which I know has driven you crazy a time or two. But there's a relentless determination to try to get perfect. I know full well that perfect is impossible, but it's that pursuit of perfect that I find really, really interesting and keeps me going. What keeps us moving forward. And then lastly is a beginner's mindset. So it's the idea that I always say that you should be a beginner at something all the time in your life. There should never be a point in your life where you're not doing something you don't know how to do, because that humbles us and it keeps us curious. And I think those are the three things.
Okay. So considering, what are your key factors to success?
Key factors to success. I think the key factors to success for real estate agents, for all of us, are self-discipline. Again, it's just that, I don't know how you want to put it, but client-centered thinking, putting the clients first. Self-discipline, client-centered thinking, and a desire to learn. I think those are the key factors. So when we're looking at recruiting real estate agents for loyalhomes.ca, those are sort of the things we're looking for.
So how important would you say networking has been towards your career, in your career?
Yeah, networking. Whew, I'm the wrong guy to ask that question. I think it's probably my biggest Achilles heel is networking. Networking is, I understand the value of it. And as I get older, I really understand the value of it. Real estate is networking.
Absolutely.
The whole entire thing, whether it's networking with your colleagues, in your local community, in your overriding company, province-wide, nationwide, networking with businesses, networking with it's everything, because this is a relationship business.
Absolutely. And if you don't have relationships with people, they're not going to come to you, right?
100%.
And that's very important to make sure.
Well, an interesting story just popped in my head.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, do you have a story?
Okay, so I just about people and how important it is. We love technology. So technology and using technology is a big part of what we've done. And I remember when I was early in my career and I was on this panel speaking at a real estate conference, and it was about technology and how we use it. And at the end of the day, I made this statement that the only thing technology has changed is it's changed how we first meet people or how we can better service them. But at the end of the day, this is a belly-to-belly business, and business happens face-to-face. Yeah. And I'll never forget that one of the old-timers in the back stood up and started clapping, and then the whole room started clapping, because I think we know that as real estate agents. Yeah. And I think that's important.
Absolutely, adapting to change. Things are always constantly evolving within our industry, within the world. What are some of the things that you do to stay ahead and adapt to what's happening around us?
Yeah, so learn. Curious. It's that curiosity, that beginner's mindset. But I think real estate agents should go to first of all, I think real estate agents should have coaches. If you want to do this business and you want to do it at a high level, I wish I had made that decision a lot earlier. Go out there and hire a good real estate coach and talk to them every week or every 2 weeks. They're networking with top agents across the country, and they're going to find changes and adapt to changes quickly and let you know about them before you might otherwise notice. Yeah. Go to real estate conferences, hear these speakers, and absorb what they have to say. It's motivating, but you also learn. And then I think we live in a digital age where there's so much information. You can learn everything you need to know to build a business like ours on YouTube. Yeah, like you absolutely can. So go out there and consume information like it's your job, because it is. Yeah. But change, I mean, right now we're dealing with this AI. Like, AI has come in. Yes. So I said this, and we have another podcast where we do it for real estate consumers. And I was talking about that, how I hand coded in Notepad one of the first real estate websites in the province for individual realtors. When we knew the internet, we could see that the internet was going to change everything, everything. And it took the industry a long time to really figure that out. And you know that our entire success has fundamentally been based on that vision.
My whole career is based on technology and being on the internet and web leads and stuff like that. That's what I based being an inside sales agent for 8 years. We adapted that technology right away, and that led to a lot of our success. That set us apart from everybody else.
So AI is going to do the same thing,
Yeah.
right? And people, you're getting that same. It's exactly the same feeling I got when the internet came in. Is people are really nervous of AI, and for good reason, I'm sure. And there's a lot of talk about AI going to be the end of us, and maybe that's true or maybe it's not. But AI is the genie's out of the bottle, and it's here. And I can tell you that I'm an early adopter of AI, and I have never had an assistant quicker and more useful than ChatGPT at this early point today. That thing helps me save. I can do 30 hours of work in 4 hours now. And I think real estate agents should grab onto that and figure out how to use it in all aspects of their life, because it's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good for a baseline. It's obviously not going to do everything 100% for you.
No.
But
you need to know how to use it.
You need to know how to use it.
Yeah.
Take some experimenting, and gives you a baseline, which you can take, gives you to 80%, right?
Totally.
And then it's up for you to bring it that last 20% to make it.
And it
useful.
totally hallucinates. Like it absolutely. I'll be doing a project with it. So I'll give you an example of how I use AI. If I'm creating content for a web page, for an example, I'll tell it what the goal is, and I do it in short sentences. You want to talk to this thing in really, really short sentences. Use lots of punctuation. Don't be, and just be really concise. But what I do is I tell it to ask me questions. Ask me any question you need to know in order to do this better. And then we have this dialogue back and forth, and I answer its questions, and then it refines what it's doing, and it'll start building website pages for me, right? And of course, I'm adding all the information that makes these pages unique. I'm not just asking ChatGPT to write content for me. It'll come out with generic garbage, right?
Yeah.
But what happens is, as I'm going through the project with it, all of a sudden it just seems to forget what we're talking about, and it'll be off doing something totally different. And so that's been interesting.
Absolutely. So we're using technology, but honestly, client relationships. That is something that everyone needs to foster, and building trust. How do you build trust and build that relationship with people that you don't know?
Yeah, I love that question. And you're an inside salesperson, so inside salespeople, for anyone that's watching that doesn't understand, or listening that doesn't understand what an inside salesperson is, an inside salesperson is somebody who generally speaking, meets online leads over the phone. So they never get to meet them face to face. So they lose all the body language communication.
Absolutely.
And all you get to communicate with is tone of voice and what you say. So we've really had a lot of conversations about how do you build trust. So to answer your question, how do I think real estate agents should build trust? Well, the first one and the most important by far is to be trustworthy. So when somebody asks me, if I get a new call in from a new buyer and they ask me about a property, I'm going to tell them the bad things about the property, because they need to know that. It's important for them.
Absolutely.
So that's the first thing, I think, is showing them that you genuinely are a human being that cares about their needs. And then I think the second thing is listening, is to actually listen to what they're saying, and then show them that you're listening. Repeat back to people what they said, paraphrase what they've said, so that they understand that you're retaining what they said.
Yeah.
So many real estate agents are listening, but they're sort of going to the next place in their head. What are you looking for? How many bedrooms, bathrooms? Okay, you're looking for 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Okay, great. And that just builds trust with people. They want someone that genuinely is trustworthy, cares about them, listens to them, and is going to act in their best interest.
And not just listening to respond, but actually listening to comprehend and remember.
Exactly.
And then later on, using that in a conversation that you repeat back to them
100%.
what they're looking for, and that's going to show, okay, they're listening. Very, very important. And providing value. Value is the most important thing to build trust. If you're not providing value, you're just spewing off whatever. They can get that information online. So why are they coming to you? I don't know if you have any particular client experiences that stand out, that either could be rewarding or challenging. I don't know if you have anything.
Well, providing value, that's a really good one. I mean, at the end of the day, providing value is how the lens you should look through everything you do, whether it be your social media marketing, your online marketing, your communication with the clients. It should all be through that lens of, am I providing value? I mean, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that is paramount, and it's obviously in our culture and why it came up. I think if you want a story, I don't know that I can come up with an individual story, but I'd say that my very happiest moments in real estate is when I help a client make or save a large sum of money.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy negotiation, and we'll do some podcasts on negotiations in the future. But I can think of situations where I'm working for the seller, and the seller wants to accept an offer, and my instincts and my experience tell me that there is more to be had in this negotiation. And I would say to the client, do you trust me? Yes, I trust you. Let me try to go one more counter offer. Let me see if I can save you. And I can remember saving clients $10,000-$15,000. And that feeling that they have at the end of the day when that deal closes, and they know they have $15,000 in their pocket because of trust that you earned and built in that piggy bank with them, that trust piggy bank that I'll also talk about. Those are priceless.
And you're in it for their best interest. You weren't in it for just getting a sale. You were looking at theirs, not just trying to get the most money so you get the most money. A lot of people have that negative view of realtors and car salesmen, but really it's not how we generally operate. Most of the people, especially in our group, and people in our brokerage,
it's not the way the best operates.
No,
it's
absolutely
not the way anyone that's watching or listening to this podcast probably operates.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to make sure you're doing best for your clients, and then that's what's going to build trust. And building trust is going to build referrals, and it's going to build your business, right? So always keep that in mind. Mentorship and learning. Is there any mentors or any role models in your life that helped you with your career?
Oh, man. So it started with my mom, right? My mom is the best natural salesperson I have ever met. And he's nodding because he knows her well.
Yeah, very well.
She isn't a person that's relentlessly pursuing knowledge. She's a person that, for whatever reason, intuitively understands
pursuing connections. That's what she does.
Yeah, exactly. And she genuinely cares about people. She genuinely wants to help people. My mom is, I don't know how old she is now, but she's certainly at the age where she could be retired and financially could be retired, and she still does this every day because she loves it. So she taught me a lot about how to talk to people, how to communicate with people, how to listen to people, all of those things. And I'm so fortunate to have sat with her. Now there's a whole bunch of other mentors.
Yeah. After
that, I would say I started going out and hiring coaches, and I was lucky enough to have some really, really great coaches. Dana Richard from Rich Robbins' coaching program, which is one of the biggest coaching programs in the country.
Yeah.
I coached with him. He was my first coach, and he helped me start to see things as a business and really help with fundamental sales. After that, Bill Renault, who was with, at the time, Goodfellow Coaching, which was the biggest, at the time, was the biggest coaching program for large teams. I remember going to a seminar once, and he said that the average agent income in the room was $2.2 million, and I was like blown away. And so Bill had a really successful team in Ottawa, and Bill taught me a ton about building a team, keeping a team happy, sales, customer, everything. And then lastly would be Kathleen Black, who is probably the premier coach in North America today.
Especially today. Yeah, absolutely.
I was fortunate enough to work with her for a short period of time, for about a year, and she's remarkable at teaching systems, how to systemize a business and take your real estate business and grow it using leverage in terms of other people and capital. So yeah, I think those people were all huge.
Perfect. So from all those people, what is the one piece of advice that you received early in your career that's still relevant to you today?
Do it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Do it for the right reasons. I think the best year, most money I ever made in real estate, I don't even think I knew how much money I made till the end of the year because I wasn't paying attention. I didn't, and I'm not saying don't pay attention to your finances, because you definitely should as a business person, but as a salesperson, my point is that I never sell houses trying to think about a commission. And clients say this. We were talking about this in a meeting the other day. Not clients, but the public will say things to us, these misunderstandings about us, like if you sell the house if you get a better deal for me, you make more money, and they think we're really motivated by these commissions. And I've never calculated a commission.
I can tell you a lot of our buyers agents, your mother including, the money just goes in her account. She doesn't even know. And then months later, she'll go and check because she's doing her job. She's making money. She's making her clients happy. She's not worrying about every penny that's coming through. It's just the basic results of her work, and something that she can enjoy later.
It's that attitude that brings success. It's not necessarily that you shouldn't pay attention to your finances, but that attitude brings success. And Yeah, I think it's critical. Now, there's lots of agents that obviously have to watch the commission come in, but it's interesting that the great agents at some point become independently, I won't say independently wealthy, but certainly financially free and have the liberty to not watch that.
Yeah.
But it's that mindset of not
worrying about getting that better deal just so you can get that extra $10.
Doing it for the right
just do
reasons.
it for the right reasons. Do it
Get
for
the
your
better
clients.
deal because it's best for the client. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Technology and innovations. What technology impacted your career? Like what tools and platforms?
Let's talk about the internet. I talked about AI a little bit. Let's talk about the internet and how it has created. So we got loyalhomes.ca behind us, which is our province-wide online platform. Interesting story. I was watching Dragon's Den. So if you don't know what Dragon's Den is, you might know what Shark Tank is. Shark Tank and Dragon's Den are these business shows where people come in with a business idea and they pitch this idea. And then these investors can invest in the company. Well, this guy was selling these websites, and he happened to be living in a community 60-minute drive from where I live. Just happened to be. And he was selling these websites where people would come on, they're common now, but people would come on your website, click on a listing, and then this annoying pop-up would come up and say, give me your contact information or you can't go any further.
Yeah.
And I just instantly knew that this was important. So I think at that point in my career, it's a bit of a longer story, but at that point in my career, I had already figured out that because realtor.ca, MLS.ca, I think it was at the time, we were doing some business by email, and this was early in the internet era. And people would come back to me after I emailed them back and say, thanks for getting back to me. I emailed 5 realtors, and you're the only one that got back to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? We work in an industry where everybody is hungry. They're entrepreneurs. They want to do well, and they're not responding to emails. So I sat down and I spent quite a bit of time. Why would they not be responding to emails? And then through my own experience, the answer came out. And the answer was people were typing out these long emails, and we didn't know how to type very well at the time because computers were newer. And we'd send out this information, and that seller or that person on the other end that emailed us doesn't reply. And we didn't have phone numbers back then. So they were conditioned like Pavlov's dog to not email because there was nothing in it for them. There was and they didn't even get a thank you. So it was like there was nothing in it for them. So then the question was why? Why are these people not responding? And the answer was they're on the internet looking at real estate and they don't want to talk to a real estate agent.
Yeah.
They're scared of us.
Yeah.
We're scary. Just like I tend to sometimes go look at cars when the car lot's closed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do the same thing.
So this is where this whole concept of providing value came out.
Yeah.
We just need to provide an immense amount of value. So we figured out that this was the way the world was going to go. And today, almost everybody goes on the internet to start their real estate search.
Absolutely.
Most of them are on the internet 6 months to 12 months, as you know, before they talk to an agent.
Yeah, and it takes 2 years to get a sale. On average, what I found when I was working as an inside sales agent, I was dealing with all these online leads. And from the first email or the first website sign up with all the nurturing that we did, it took 2 years to get a sale on average.
Yeah.
So there was definitely some work needing to be done. So if you're looking for that low hanging fruit, it's not going to be there.
If your mentality is not to provide value,
yeah, absolutely,
you got no hope.
Absolutely,
right?
and responding to those emails fast, but also just not there just to respond. Oh, it's still available. You're there giving information or giving other options that are similar, something that they might be interested in. Trying to encourage that conversation, that ongoing conversation, which leads into nurturing, which leads into building your client base, and then.
Great. So this whole story of starting with email and figuring this out and figuring it out led us to these values that we just talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Values of trustworthiness, providing value, all of these things. It shaped who we are. Mm-hmm. It's still a belly business. They're still going to come out and look at houses. It's just that if you're an average real estate agent and you're waiting to get somebody from an open house, or when they inquire on your corporate website or they call you, they probably talked to me 12 months earlier. They probably actually talked to Tomm 12 months earlier.
Yeah.
So we're helping these people way upstream, and it just completely transformed everything we do. And it'll be interesting to see how AI affects that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I still get I still get emails, although I'm not doing sales anymore. I'm doing more management and stuff with the brokerage and the company. I still get people reaching out to me saying, "Hey, I'm coming to you because you're the worth of knowledge for these investment properties. You helped me tremendously in finding information on my last sale."
It's networking, right?
It's networking, right? So going
And
back
it's building
to
trust.
and
It's building trust,
yeah.
and they're coming back to you because they trust you.
And providing a value that's stuck in their mind. So 2 years, 3 years later, they're still reaching out and trying to connect with me, or getting me to help them connect with someone who can help them better than I can. So out of all, for advice for agents out there, what's the tool or platform that you find absolutely indispensable that they should really be utilizing?
Follow-up boss. So maybe I shouldn't have used a brand name, CRM.
CRM, absolutely.
The CRM, we use Follow-up Boss. Our company, Royal LePage, has one called RLP Sphere, which is our corporate company has one called RLP Sphere.
I think Remax has their own as well.
Yeah, and they all do, right? They definitely have many of the same bells and whistles. We just use Follow-up Boss because it's the one we started with. And it's the best. No. So why is it
We're not
invaluable?
sponsored, by the way.
It's invaluable because you can't keep in touch with as many people as you need to keep in touch with in the internet era without a lot of organization. And the CRM, when set up properly, will do all of that organizing and automation and heavy lifting for you that allows you to do what you do great.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And it's really hard to get agents into using their CRM because they're all, I got it on my head, or I got my binder, and
Biggest issue in real estate.
It is the biggest issue. And, we see that here. I see that with other agents in our brokerage and other brokerages. Coming from an inside sales agent, my CRM is what I lived in, right? Everything was done to that. That's where I got my call list. That's where I had my communication. That's how I checked my emails, my text messages, all that. So I've always been living in that world. So I've always been trying to advocate it to other agents, including yourself.
Yeah.
And until you start using it, you don't really see the benefit at first. You think it's this burden, but to be honest, it's the most important tool as a real estate agent that anybody can have.
So there is a burden to it, though. It has to be set up, right? And I was fortunate enough that you set it up.
Yes.
Right? So
my superpower.
So what about everybody that's out there listening, watching? Hire somebody to set it up and take the training and invest in yourself, invest the time, invest the money, get a system. If nothing else, if you're not doing online leads, then use it for your past clients, because the value in what it can do for your past client networking is astronomical.
Yeah, and there's a lot to it. There's a lot of terms and terminologies that you might not understand, but most of them will have a great training system. Whether you're as RLP Sphere or Follow Boss or whatever system, look at those, follow them, go through them. Just work through each level at a time, and then as you're working it, you're going to start utilizing it.
And it becomes easy. It does.
The more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it.
For sure.
So. Absolutely. Market insights. From your perspective, what are some of the emerging trends in real estate that agents should be aware of?
I talk about AI. So let's talk about the real estate market. The real estate market is softer, more balanced, going down, whatever kind of word you want to use to describe what's happening in the real estate market. It's not that frenzied pace in most markets, and that's not true in every market, but in most markets right now. And that's a trend that has a significant impact. Every time there's a huge shift in the real estate market, in any given market, a few real estate agents come out and they're on fire, and everybody else is sort of standing back going, what are they doing? And I think what they're doing is they're going back to basics. And I think that's what you really need to do in a really strongly shifting market. So we should be moving from product driven to service driven. We should be really, because we're going to be working with buyers and sellers for longer periods of time than we were. Yeah. There's less of these multiple offers. There's less of this product need. We need to get really good at service and really good at building trust, providing value, doing all of those things. That's the secret sauce, and it's not a secret sauce. It's hard work and it's figuring it out, but that's the answer.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So for a new agent, what kind of advice would you give them for starting out in this industry? That's what we're here for.
Yeah, exactly. Listen to some podcasts, watch some YouTube videos. Find a mentor.
Read a book of Yes.
Read the book of Yes. Yeah, do a whole bunch of things. How to Win Friends and Influence People, one of the great older books of all time that everybody should be reading. But I think I think finding mentorship would probably be the biggest thing I would say. One of the great success stories I've ever heard of is a realtor in the next market over from me who came in as a brand new real estate agent and was up to $1 million in his second year in commissions earned. And he went into that situation. I talked to him. How did this come about? It was a mindset thing. He went into this knowing he was going to build a business, and he actually invested months and months, and maybe even been a year of time learning everything he needed to know before he became a real estate agent. And then he went out and hired an assistant before he even started, which is just the most insane thing if you think about it. But it's perfect, right?
Yeah.
He went into it knowing he was going to be successful. So not everyone can do that. Not everyone's in a financial situation to do that. But for new agents, it's having a plan. Next to that, I would say the biggest mistake that new agents make is they think that they're going to come into the market and that selling real estate is about being good with people, showing houses, opening doors, writing contracts. And it's not. It's where are you going to find the people you're going to work with? Where are you going to find the people you're going to work with? Make sure you have a plan for that, and that plan you can repeat it with your efforts day in and day out, week in and week out, year in and year out, because those little steps, that's how, the repeating of those steps is how success is built.
Yeah, and setting goals for yourself and working towards those goals, whether it's education or sales goals or whatever. Maybe it could just be like, I want to go out and door knock 200 houses this month.
Whatever it is,
whatever
just
your goal.
have a plan and execute the plan.
And
don't give up on it.
No.
Don't give up on it, 2 months in because you're knocking on doors and you haven't got a listing yet. That might take 6 months.
Yeah.
I always say if you're going to try a new marketing campaign, you got to give it 6 months before you can measure it.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like I was saying before, like it took me 2 years from coming onto a website and getting me to a sale. Knocking on the door today could be, 6 months from now when that person who you had a conversation with is like, oh, I wasn't ready then. I wasn't even thinking about selling, but now something's happening. Maybe I have to relocate for a job, or maybe my family's sick, or whatever it is. Now all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, but Chris came to my door. I should give him a call.
Yeah.
So you're not going to see the fruits of your labor immediately, but you're going to see it down the road. So make those goals.
If you're consistent.
If you're consistent.
And you're doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah, exactly. So talking about future setting goals and future goals, looking forward, what are your professional goals for the next year or few years?
Yeah, well, we have loyalhomes.ca, which is we're generating online leads. So we're taking what we did in our market and made us a top 1% real estate company, and we are expanding it to the entire province of British Columbia, and from there we might expand it further. So our goals are to find good real estate agents that match our corporate values and our corporate, culture, and help them have this kind of success that all the agents that work with us are having.
Yeah, and as one thing I noticed that when you're growing this team that you're really focusing on.
It's not a team.
It's a group. The brokerage.
It's an important legal distinction.
Within the brokerages, making sure even in our parent brokerage, helping them become successful, right?
Yeah,
and that's what we're sort of here for, was these podcasts, and some of our future podcasts are good coming out. There's going to be some of the skills and tools that hopefully you can take and use it in your daily careers.
Well, that concept of helping your clients and doing it for the right reasons applies to building real estate businesses. If you're not there to help the agents that work with you get better and make more money, if you're not actually wanting, if you don't need to help them grow and you don't get a joy from watching them become better and have more successful lives and get to take the trip and do the thing, if that's not what's driving your motivation, good luck, right?
Yeah, exactly. So some closing thoughts. Is there anything you want to share with our listeners, something maybe that we haven't covered yet?
That's a big topic.
I know, that's a big topic, right? Kind of wide open there. Anything lastly you want to say?
I think I just recapped the things that we said was come up with a plan, figure out why you're doing it. Start with why. I mean, you always hear that's cliche. Start with why. Figure out why you're doing it. Figure out how you're going to do it, and then find the self-discipline to do it consistently.
Get yourself a CRM. Get yourself organized. Start from there.
That's a great thing. Every successful business person I know, real estate agent I know, business person I know, CEO I know, they have a structured calendar. If you look in my phone, I could bring it up and show it to you. My entire week is structured. it might just say like from 1 to 4 you're doing sales, and that could be appointments or calls or whatever it is. But I have a plan, and every successful person I know has a plan. So figure out your plan, and you don't have to work 40 hours a week or 60 hours a week. If you're working 20 hours a week, you still need a plan. So that would probably be the thing that I would say as a final thought.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great advice. So I just want to thank you guys for listening. My name's Tomm Dool.
I'm Chris Fenton.
And this is Beyond the Sales, Real Estate Mastery. We'll look forward to seeing you soon.